birds flying high. You know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Well, there are three things in life you can count on: death, taxes, and Eddie Smith calling the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series here in the Goat Locker Racing League on VSRN. Boy, I'm glad to be here every Wednesday night. It's like a dream come true as we get to have some of the best racing that you'll see on the track in any league, anywhere. And so glad to have all y'all tonight. We're going to have a fun show tonight as we take on Nashville Super Speedway. We're in Music City. Gonna be having a good time. These next gen cars, they really take to this track, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Want to thank Crusin Classics, the title sponsor for this series, for their support. Want to thank Veterans for Life Foundation and Jam Printing and Promotions. Amp up your marketing. All right, my goodness, Nashville Super Speedway. What can you say about it? I mean, kind of a surprise. It came out of nowhere. We were Dale Jr. was trying to get Nashville Fairgrounds up and rolling, and dadgummit, if they didn't end up opening the Nashville Super Speedway, SMI did a great job. Lebanon, Tennessee opened in 2001, but just largely abandoned until a couple of years ago. 38,000 people can fit in the stands, 1.33 mile, not quite 1.5 miler, but it has a lot of characteristics of it. A little bit flatter corners, not as banked as some, and you can see it's got that tri-oval there on the front stretch, which can provide for some really awesome racing. Get down on the apron, make up a lot of speed. You can do it all right here. And these next gen cars seem to take to this very well. Gonna have to be careful. Don't want to lose. You don't want to lose the back end off the corner, but the shifting, I think, really adds another element to this track that's very, very needed in the stock car. So I think that is why it kind of works so well. Well, all right. Well, we got about a minute left in this thing, and we got some guys qualifying right now. But we'll try to talk to somebody. I love to talk to these people, and we'll get somebody in here that Hey, well, we'll bring Patrick up in here. We'll talk to Jamie. Actually, I think we talked to. Let's make sure he's not out on the track. Jamie Barker's currently sitting on the. We'll get him up into the booth. Jamie, this Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, feller. What's going on, my man?
Man, well, hey, look, we're in the Music City, so I expect to see you get your banjo out, something to make some music tonight, or just use that right foot pedal and get a win. Right now, you're sitting on the front row. How you feeling about tonight? How you like this car and track? Is we're gonna have 115 laps around this place.
Well, I love this track and car combo, but I don't know. I'm just hoping I don't get run over here on this restart because I am not going to go like probably a lot of these guys are going to go on this start. So we'll have to see how that works out. Hopefully we'll get away clean and they can just move on and run their race, and I'll run mine, and we'll see how it shakes out at the end.
Well, so far, I mean, a few races into this thing, and the Next Gen Series has been really, really awesome. So far, has it kind of started off like you wanted it to here in Goat Locker?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't ask for better than what we've had the last couple of weeks. I mean, last week, we had one caution at Dover, of all places. So, I mean, can't ask for better effort than that from the guys for sure.
Well, all right. Well, thank you for talking to me, brother. Good luck tonight.
All right. Thanks, Eddie. Have a good one, man.
Jamie Vargas, the man himself, and he's going to start on the front row. And, hey, what better time to jump right into the grid as we'll get this thing rolling and see where everybody's going to start here tonight. Is I'll need to get my music up, and we'll show these guys on the track. Jamie Barkus with the lead. Look at that. Barely squeaks out Brandon Evans in that second position. So front row, Jamie Barkus, Brandon Evans. Starting in row number 2, Steve Tucker and Patrick Drabbit. Row number 3, John Ross and Jacob Ellingson. That is a power-packed punch of a row right there. Alliteration. 7th, going to be Robert Hartley and George Jewell in the 8th position. 9th is going to be David Camara, and 10th, Jake Ham. James Goshen in 11th. Leroy Kablint's going to roll off in 12th. 13th, going to be Ryan Perkins. Bobby Germain rounds out the top 14. Mickey Isaac in 15th. John Anthony in the 16th position. And Doug Ellington rounding out the field in 17th. So 17 cars are going to take the grid here tonight, and I think that is a perfect amount. I think it's going to offer some good green flag racing, and I believe I believe these guys are not going to let me down in that department. It's just been incredible so far, so don't see that really changing at all. Well, while we're waiting on the grid, we'll go ahead and show who we got on webcam here tonight. Man, we got 5 of them. Got Jamie, Patrick, got Brandon Evans, of course, Jacob Ellingson, and Mickey Isaac. So got some cool perspectives to see. I see Patrick's got his spaceship booted up and ready to roll as they're pulling off a pit road now. We'll get a pace lap, and we'll get this thing underway. Man, I really do enjoy being here in the Goat Locker Series and looking forward to calling this race tonight. Just started to just love broadcasting. I used to want to race all the time, but I have just fallen in love with this. I look forward to these every single night that I broadcast, and thank y'all for being a part of it over on VSRN. Definitely subscribe if you're not. But let's talk about the race analysis. We're here to talk about a race. NASCAR Next Gen cars, fixed setup, 115 laps here tonight. 4 total sets of tires in that one fast repair. So pretty straightforward race. Nothing that should be too crazy. Plenty of tires to make it to the end, I would imagine. Split it up into 4 sets, 30 laps a set. I think that's pretty reasonable. So we'll see how these guys make this happen here tonight. What the strategy is going to be. How can you afford to be patient? You heard Jamie, your pole sitter, talk about being patient. He wants to be there at the end. Barney's got the green flag in hand. Jamie Barker is going to lead us down to the green flag. Green flag is out here in Nashville. Well, as we come to take lap number 2. We are 3 wide for the lead. Jamie Barkus in the middle, Brandon Evans there in the middle, but in the top side. But Steve Tucker takes the lead here on lap number 2, taking it 3 wide. So these guys being aggressive. Jamie talked about it. He didn't think that he was going to be as aggressive as these guys are, and you could see right away he was absolutely right. And we got a side-by-side battle. Brandon Evans, Steve Tucker. I think these guys will be racing each other a lot this season. Just some really talented drivers. Steve Tucker got the win a couple weeks ago, and caution is out. Caution is out as David Camara goes around. He's doesn't have any damage, gets that thing back rolling, but early on to have issues here. I wonder if it was tire related or exactly what happened. We'll of course go back and check it out here on the V-Speed Racing Network replay. Let's check it out. That red car there is just going to get loose off the corner, correct it back on the track, locks it down with a 2-foot smash. And, yeah, I mean, he slid those tires and got them so heated up. We'll go back and look at that again. You're going to see he's going to get it caught back up. He's going to save it here, but he's going to 2-foot smash, which means he's going to push the throttle and the brake down to stop it from. That's how it straightens it out. But then when he tries to get back going, those tires are super heated, and he just has no grip there on that concrete. And it gets a little help from the 58 of Doug Ellingson, but no damage really to have an issue with. So not a bad little wreck there. Hate to see that caution, as we had some really good racing, but that's just that new tire in the next gen. That's what they do. Brandon Evans has the lead. For some reason, Steve Tucker is coming down pit roads. I don't know if this is a fuel strategy type thing, you know. So I don't know if some guys have done the math on what they need for fuel strategy, but after 5 laps coming down pit road's a little odd. But yeah, he comes down, takes fuel only. So interesting strategy out of Steve. We'll have to pay attention to that, see if that's going to make a big difference. You know, if you can, you know, in my head, if you can go green flag and you can make it to lap 110, well, you can make it to the end. So I don't know. Not quite sure I'd want to give up that much track position. And I hate to be the type to be critical of people on the broadcast, but if I don't know, I don't know, and I try to figure it out on broadcast itself. But coming down to get fuel, but give up all that track position, that's tough. Track position's tough to get back. And this track, once the tires start to wear out, it can be a little bit difficult to pass, so we'll see. He's going to lose 13 spots going down pit road. David Camara was able to get about 42 seconds of damage fixed on that thing. So he did have a little bit of damage, but it'd be all right. Got the 1 to green here. We're going to get doubled up, go green here on lap 7. When we take the green flag, Jamie Barkus, Brandon Evans going to be side by side here for the lead. Brandon's going to have the control of the restart, which will give him a pretty nice advantage down into turn 1. But just really impressive start there, 3 wide, as Brandon, Jamie, and Steve were really racing it out there. And Jamie, it seemed like Jamie talked about it on the in the interview, how he thought those guys were going to go, and he wasn't going to have nothing to do with it. But he kind of stayed in there for a little bit and then said, you know what, I should probably back out of this. So I mean, if William Byron is any kind of example of how to be there at the end is all that matters. If you got a fast car, that's great. If you're up front, that's great. But you got to be there at the end. And the other day, William Byron just stole that win at Texas because he was there. He was running up in the top 5 all race long, and when the opportunity presented itself, he was there to take it, get that 300th win for Hendrick Motorsports. So, got to be there at the end. Green flag in hand. Barney, we're going to go back green here on lap number 7. And Brandon Evans gets a great jump. And now the battle is going to be back here for the second position is now Patrick Drabick. Comes along with Jamie. And you can see Jacob Ellingson trying to work that inside, but also block a little bit of John Ross in that 99 machine. Good looking Skull. I don't think he's been driving this scheme. This looks good. Like he changed it up a little bit, that Skull Bandit. That's a damn good paint scheme. Well, I'm impressed. I like that a lot. He was looking down to the inside of Jacob Ellingson. Jacob kind of blocked that bottom line, put some dirty air on the front of that 99 machine, but so far, so good here. Single file, Patrick Drabick was able to get that second position in that Jam Printing and Promotions Chevrolet as Brandon Evans got about 0.3 of a second lead over second place here, but the draft going to be very, very important. You see they're able to draft right back up with these next gen cars, really punch a big hole in the air, and the own throttle time is, I mean, you're on throttle a lot here, and so you carry a lot of momentum and really use that draft. So you can get a little bit uneasy there off of turning the forward there. Nothing too major. You can see the car kind of rocking back and forth as he was working with the throttle. You hear the shift as they go down the corner. It helps slow the car down, but keeps that motor in that high torque RPM range, the most power you can. So you hit the throttle, keep the power down. Jacob Ellingson has a little bit of a wiggle there off the corner, so these guys are definitely feeling it. It's not easy. Talking to Jake today, and he says, "Man, I love these cars, and I love them anywhere. You can put this car anywhere, and I'm happy to be driving on it." And he can see the lead, just taking his time. He's got two teammates in front of him. No reason to push the issue. But you can see there, it's a tight line. It's a tightrope. He's and this track is just like that. I mean, you've got one groove. There's really not too many grooves once the tires start to wear. You've got to hit this line perfectly. You see, he's trying to get that left front tire right on that yellow line down at the bottom. That's where you're going to get the most speed. That's going to, once you get on the throttle, it's really going to rotate and drive through the middle of the corner off the bottom. You see Jamie up there at the top. He's trying a different approach. Both of them working pretty good. 1 and 2, I think you really want to be down there on that yellow line. 3 or 4, you can kind of play around. It's like Jake doing a great job though. Everything's starting to settle down. Brandon Evans now out to a 0.6 of a second lead. Got that clean air. It's just too important. And most likely why he fought so hard to get out there early. You can get out front, you really kind of dictate the race. I mean, he dominated the race a week or so ago, getting out front, and really just nobody could touch him. I think Kansas, he had the dominant car, and at the end had to fight with John Ross. Just an amazing race. It allowed Steve Tucker to come in there and kind of sneak one in there on him. And but last week in Overland, he really put a whipping tonight, trying to match that here. Leading laps early, getting out front, and as we get into green flag cycles, that lead will be all too important. And we see we've got a couple groups here. You got this front group, the 3 Goat Locker boys here with John Ross and George Jewell kind of hanging on to the back end. Then you got another group up here led by Jake Ham, who I think if there were 10 laps to go, or 10 more laps in the race in Dover last week, he would have gotten the victory. And he's leading sort of the second pack of guys. He definitely talked about how he likes to save tires and tries to save as much as he possibly can. So we'll see as the run goes on here, if that's able to, if they're able to make up the deficit they're at right now. I mean, they're at 4.2 seconds back from the lead and 3 seconds back from George Jewell in 6th. So Robert Hartley goes to the inside of I think that's James Goshen. 46 car grabbing a couple positions right now. Jake Ham is your second biggest mover with Mickey Isaac back here in the 01. Going to the inside of Steve Tucker, who pitted under that last caution, who was running up front. Well, watch, man. We've got some really tight racing going on right here. This is fun to watch. Tucker worked that outside. He got around James Goshen to go around the top side. I don't think you'll see that very often here tonight. He's trying to work his way back through this, but watching Mickey Isaac. And the 85 get a little bit loose there. It might open the door. 85 still getting loose. And he's going to be able to go around it, but he's got the 42 of Bobby Germain now on the outside. It's a scary moment there for James Goshen as he just gets loose right on the bottom. It's a high momentum track, so any kind of slip up, anything that goes wrong, and you're going to end up losing a ton of spots. Watching this battle is the 42 Bobby Germain. Making that top side work, trying to get around the outside of Mickey Isaac. Has not been able to do it just yet. He's going to get a good run off of turn 4, though. Got a good run down into turn 1. He can't quite clear him. We'll see what he can do in turn 1 and 2. Turn 1 and 2 seems to be a little bit tougher on the outside. You see he's way up the track. We'll see if he can get the run, get a little bit of draft off Jake Ham here. Not quite able to do it, so continuing to run side by side. Mickey Isaac, James Goshen. This is a battle for 10th place. Well, we'll check lap times here as we're 22 laps into this thing. We'll see if we can find anybody that is sort of making up some ground. Steve Tucker, currently the fastest car on the track up here as he has gotten out front of this little pack of racing that we've been watching. He's got Robert Hartley behind him, but he is faster, about a 10th faster than the leaders. And they've slowed up about 4 or 5 tenths than their best lap at the moment. So not that much fall off just yet. We'll see as that run continues to go on. That time by John Ross a little bit faster. So draft having a little bit of effect on that, because you look up here, I mean, it's just a single file sort of racing going on up here. Is you see the effects of dirty air. I mean, these guys are equally spaced out about 2 tenths, and that's where dirty air starts to really affect you. And it really hurts the entry of the corner to the middle, and you don't have the downforce that you need. It's going to be tough to really make that ground up. So that's why you see the single file racing. It's why it's important to be perfect every single lap. Now, Patrick and the group has been able to run Brandon Evans down just a little bit there as he was out about half a second, but they have been able to get a little bit closer. But you see right at 3 tenths, start to lose the air on the front of that car, and the entry, being able to keep it down on the bottom, becomes even more difficult lap after lap. Danny Marcus going to go up the racetrack and open the door here for John Ross. See the run off the top side, not able to get it done. Jamie going to drive deep into the corner. John's going to get another run here. Let's see if he can get to position on the 15. Oh, man. 15's giving him a lot of room. He's going to go down to the apron, which gives him just enough. They're going to go in the corner side by side now into turn 1. I think that's really good for John Ross as he's able to get it gassed back up. If he's able to clear. Not able to clear him just yet. Goes down the corner. 3 and 4 is a little bit better on the top side, but Jamie not able to get the throttle down and hold it. That's going to give John Ross that position. Move John up to the 4th position. Getting chastised in the chat for the ticker. Sorry about that. Well, up at the top 5, Jacob Ellingson's been the biggest mover at the end of this run. And he has been able to get around his teammate and a couple others. Move up in the 3rd spot. John Ross is starting to hunt him down just a little bit. John was about a tenth and a half faster that last lap. So John is doing really good at the end of this run. We'll see if anybody's got anything for Brandon Evans if they can get up there and beat the Clean Air Monster. Very welcome. I get a little spoiled. I have my own ticker that I can see on another screen, so I completely forgot I didn't have a ticker up. So thank y'all so much for reminding me. Definitely want y'all to be able to see that. But let's watch his. We're going to give Jacob Ellingson a couple laps here and see if he can watch him try to work on Patrick Gravick and make this pass. See, he's driving down the corner, trying to make sure he doesn't miss the bottom. You don't want to push up in the middle. It really hurts your momentum through the corner and your ability to get back on the throttle. So he's trying to use that draft, go down to the corner. He's going to use a little bit of brake, just try to get right to the back bumper. He's not really trying to pass Patrick just yet, but if the opportunity opens up, Patrick's going to get into the wall. That is the opportunity. And so Jake Ellings is going to go down to the inside, so we've got a pass for second as Pat gets a little bit out of the groove. Jacob's going to drive deep into the corner, going to push up the track, see if he can hold that position. But John Ross now going to look down to the inside of Patrick. Patrick's really going to drive down in there to try to, and he make contact with John Ross as Patrick is very aggressive, trying to get back down to the bottom and not lose another position. And you go, well, why is Patrick so aggressive? And it's just like, well, that's what you have to do. I mean, if he opens the door and gives up that position, he might open the door for somebody else like George Jewell to get up there and take that other spot. So he doesn't. You know, we're here racing as Doug Ellington stays down low, but we're here racing. That's what we're here to do. And he's fighting for every position that he can get. He's got his sponsors on that jam, Printing and Promotion, Veterans for Life. They want to be up front. Doesn't happen. John going to continue moving forward as Pat's going to drive down on the door as they come off the corner. Let's see if John not quite able to get the power down. He's going to do a little bit of side drafting on that right rear or left rear tire of Patrick. And down to 3-4, John Ross able to take that spot away. So move John up to the 3rd position. And now we can see if maybe Jacob Ellingson can maybe run down Brandon Evans, who is still out front, led almost every lap. I'm expecting to see pit road open up at some point soon. This is about the time that we should come down pit road. It's going to go around lap 30-ish. So let's see what guys are going to do. The tire fall off has not really been worth coming down, so I don't know how far they can go on fuel. If they can go to halfway, that might be worth it. We'll see. If the tire fall off is anywhere between, I'd say probably 2 seconds plus. I think multiple stop strategies can work. But if you can make it on one stop and fall off is only not even a full second yet after 35 laps. I think the one stop is the right call. Battle for second brewing. John Ross headhunt here as he's trying to get down to the inside. He's showing that he's going to make a move, going to drive down the corner. Jacob Ellingson crosses over his nose, but John's going to get a nice run here off the corner. We'll see if he can make the pass here in a 3 and 4. He's showing his nose, but until you get the spotter call, you're not there just yet. Oh, and he's going to make contact. You can see that coming, in a damn good save by Jacob Ellingson to keep that from happening. I think John Ross, I understand. I think he might be a little annoyed at how he's being raced, and he's going to go up and almost make contact again. They're going to make a little contact in the middle of the corner. They're really making him work for it, but the way the line is, I mean, you know, just because you're showing doesn't mean that you have rights to that position. And I think Jacob trying to, you know, get that spot back, knowing that there's really only one lane down in these corners. So a little bit of contact, but great job by everybody to not wreck Jacob Ellingson while he did get kind of booted out of the way there. Good job by him to stay in it and not take himself out of the race, though, as him and his teammate Patrick Drabeck almost make contact there. Very scary moment, as, man, we've got a big old battle here. Look at this. It's brought in all kinds of drivers in here. As you see Jamie Barkins back there, George Jewell now pushing Jacob Ellingson as Patrick Drabeck gets his bearings back and gets back moving forward. John Ross is kind of pulled away, but after all that that hee-hawing going on up here, look at this battle. George Jewell now putting the pressure on Jacob, as Jacob, after that half spin, is definitely going to be hurting. His tires are definitely going to be hot, so he's going to be struggling here trying to hold these guys off, but great little battle, but that allowed Brandon Evans to get a 3.5-second lead after all that contact. Patrick Drabeck got his Willie B attire on. You see Liberty University there. So he's got to be a happy man. Willie B getting the win at Texas. Jacob Ellingson now starting to fire back after that contact, looking to make a run back on his teammate, but George Jewell now looking to the inside. It's so tough racing your teammates, because in these cars, you have to take everything that you get. And you see there, I think Jacob had the ability to maybe get a position on his teammate and lifted just a little bit. That allowed George Jewell to get down to the inside, but Jacob gonna do a little crossover and go back down to the inside, maybe try to bring his teammate Jamie Barkis along with him. See if George can make it work on the outside. George has been moving up through the field as well. He's been up 3 spots from where he started 4 if he's ahead of Jacob Ellingson. Well, I think the question at this point is man, look at this side-by-side racing. And, you know, I think in a place like Kansas, side-by-side racing is awesome because you can run a couple different lanes. But here, you see how detrimental it is. Patrick Drabeck's already pulled out by 1/2 second as they make contact. Jacob Ellingson makes a little bit of contact off the corner, but George Jewell not phased at all as he continues to run side-by-side. But see, well, look what it does. I mean, Patrick Drabeck is gone as they continue to race side-by-side, and that's just pulling Steve Tucker in to this battle. And if they don't settle it soon, they're going to pull away. And they're going to find themselves in a hole that they can't get back out of. Especially, it seems like we're going to be kind of a green flag race after that first initial incident. So Jacob Ellingson at one point was in 2nd place, now back to 6th. And now he's going to be under fire from Steve Tucker in that 24 machine. Oh my goodness. A little bit of contact between the 27 and 24, and I think, you know, it's hard for me to really analyze this perfectly, but it honestly seems like Jacob Ellingson's really having a tough time getting that car down on the bottom on entry. He really checked up there and indirectly brake checked the 24. The 24 was just not ready for it at all. And he's going to bounce him off the apron and lose a little bit more time. But Steve Tucker is definitely fast. just difficult here at the end of these runs to make the front end want to do what you want it to do, especially in dirty air. Now the car behind Steve Tucker, that's Doug Ellingson in the 58. He has come down pit road. He actually sped down pit road. And so he had a 40-second hold. So unfortunate for him, you see he's 4 laps down after that. So he's going to be behind the 8 ball quite a bit. Going to need a lot of help to get back on the lead lap. Here comes Steve Tucker. Goes to the outside of Jacob Ellingson, way out of the groove. We'll see if they can hold that momentum off the corner and take that spot away from Jake. Get a little bit of draft from Jamie Barkus. Not quite able to do it just yet. Jacob Ellingson continues to fight. Steve this time gonna drive down on the door. That's a scary, scary thing right there. But man, they do a great job racing, and Steve's gonna get that position. So Steve Tucker, after pitting there on that last caution on lap 3, has made his way back up to 6th place, and he'll have about 5 laps extra fuel than these guys. So be watching. If he can make it to 55 or so, I think 57. 50, you have to do 57 and 58. So if you can do either one of those, you can make it on one stop. So we'll see if anybody can make it that far and make it on just one stop. And checking on your leader, Brandon Evans, just having a fantastic season so far. And out just on a Sunday drive, John Ross had been able to make up a little bit of time there for a little bit, and then Brandon continued to pull away. As far as your point standings go, I mean, Brandon Evans has been in it every single week, but he still sits 3rd in the standings. He is tied with Steve Tucker for 2nd. So I guess that means he's in 2nd. And Jacob Ellingson is your points leader at the moment by 1 point. Jake Cam, about 10 points back from Brandon Evans in that 4th position, really. So. Nobody been able to really make up any ground. John Ross, like I said, got him down to about 3.1 seconds, but then Brandon kind of opened it back up here late. We'll see if there's any fuel saving going on, anything like that. That'll be something to pay attention to. What's the fuel strategy going to be? That might be where the drama comes from tonight. Headed back here to 6th, 7th, and 8th. Jake Ham has been able to take the spot away from both Jacob Ellingson and Jamie Barkus. And we talked about Jake earlier in this run. Same thing that happened at Dover. I mean, he was 3-4 seconds back. And look at him now in the top 5 as he has run down this group, and he is the 2nd fastest car on the track to Brandon Evans, who's out there in clean air. So Jake Ham doing a great job, doing exactly what he said he was going to do last week, and make it to the end of these runs and be moving really, really forward. He's got 8.6 seconds back to your leader, so you're going to need a lot of help there. But we got pit stops happening. Pit stops right now going on. Patrick Drabick, Jacob Barkus. Jamie Barkus comes down pit road. John Ross has come down pit road as well. And I tell you what, man, hey, looky here. They're pitting on lap 54. That means they cannot make it on one stop. They're going to have to make 2 stops. Well, guess who can make it on one stop thanks to that early pit that I just was so confused about. Why did he come down pit road? And looky here, right now, lap 55, you've got to be able to make it to 57 or 58 to even be close. Now, some of these guys can maybe save this next run and make it there, but these guys just came down pit road. It's going to be really tough. So we'll see. I don't know if they're pitting whenever they need to. I don't know if they're out of fuel. We'll see who can run. We'll see if somebody like J Cam runs really far. That'll let us know exactly how far you can run on a tank of fuel. These guys can make it. I don't know. If the fuel runs like 65 or something like that, then these guys who just pitted will be fine. But we'll find out. As we're watching this battle, though, between... Oh, my goodness! Steve Tucker gets really tight on the bottom and almost comes up the track, and somebody is way down on the inside. I don't know who that is. I think that's Doug Ellingson. Goes down almost to the grass, but able to keep that thing pointed in the right direction. But Steve Tucker going to lose the spot to Jake Cam, who is taking over the second position. Still has to make his pit stop along with the whole top 9, as the others have already come down taking 4 tires of fuel. But still waiting to see if they can make it on fuel, and it looks like they can. So, you know, I was thinking maybe Steve Tucker had pulled off something pretty incredible, but at this point, I mean, Brandon Evans has run 58 laps, so he can definitely make it on one stop. So that fuel strategy drama I was trying to make up ain't gonna happen. Now you think, well, why on earth has the 39 not come down pit road? Why, you know, he saw everybody else come down pit road. Why hasn't he? Well, he doesn't need to. He had such a massive lead that he can afford to stay out a little bit longer. Yeah, they'll make up a little bit of time, but once he comes down pit road, he'll be just a good bit faster. He won't have an issue getting back by him. So it's worth it if you're the leader and you have a big enough gap. It's going to get taken 3 wide maybe. But if you got a big enough gap, if you can stay out as long as possible and you have the tire difference, then passing those who short pitted won't be a big problem. So he can stay out as long as he wants. Right now he's 8 seconds ahead of second place Jake Cam. Jake Ellingson going to come down pit road. Jake gives up second place, and that gives second over to Steve Tucker. But your leader, Brandon Evans, stays out on the track. Got plenty of gas to make it on just one stop, so I'd be interested if Steve, we get an interview with Steve, I'd love to know exactly what his thoughts were there. He was able to drive back up through the field. I don't know, maybe he was bored. I don't know. I have no idea. We're clicking them off here at Nashville Super Speedway as we're still waiting on the leader to come down pit road. Still got about 6 drivers, now just 4, as Mickey Isaac and James Goshen come down and take 4 tires of fuel. Brandon Evans staying out. Steve Tucker as well. Robert Hartley, Bobby Germain have yet to come down pit road right now. John Ross most likely will be your leader because he pitted about 8 laps ago. He was the first one to come down on pit road. And he is about to pass Steve Tucker, although they're in different laps. Where John Ross currently a lap down, so trying to get around that 24 machine as quickly as possible. He won't be able to unlap himself, so as soon as Brandon Evans comes down pit road, everybody that has pitted will have a collective sigh, as right now a lot of them will be trapped a lap down if a caution were to come out. But John Ross likely will have the lead once this all cycles around. Brandon will have plenty of tires to make up for it, though. We'll see. But here comes Brandon Evans now, your points leader. Your race leader comes down pit road. Going to give the lead over to Steve Tucker, who can go just a little bit longer, but 64 laps there on that run. Able to get every bit of that fuel out of that 39 machine. Still 2 drivers yet to pit, Steve Tucker and Bobby Germain. And we'll see where they come out. If John Ross does indeed, he should. I mean, he's been a good bit faster than Brandon. So I expect to see John Ross take over that spot. There he goes, passes him right there as Brandon Evans coming out of pit road now. He'll get passed by Patrick Drabick. And George Jewell going to be right there on him. See if he can get around him. Looks like he will not. So Brandon will cycle back to most likely right around third place. George's going to get a run on him, though. But out to the inside. It's a pass for position here. Oh, they make contact. Oh, my goodness, to go down in the corner. And George Jewell slides up just a little bit as Brandon really lays on his right side. And George has to check up quite a bit, as that was a scary moment for both of them. Steve Tucker still out in the lead. He had that 5 extra laps on fuel that he can go. Bobby Germain has gone 66 laps here on fuel. And in pit strategy like this, you really want to do one or the other. You want to either pit early or pit late. You don't want to be right in the middle, because you end up maybe losing a couple spots and having tires that are similar. And that can be frustrating, trying to make those passes where, you know, somebody like Bobby Germain, Steve Tucker, and even Brandon Evans, they are going to be able to make passes with ease, as their tires are going to be that much pressure. Everybody kind of spread out at the moment. Still waiting on Steve Tucker and Bobby Germain to come down pit road. Steve Tucker's got a 15-second lead over Bobby Germain in second. I mean, just would love to see a caution. If he does get that caution, it would pretty much guarantee that he would maintain that lead. But here comes Bobby Germain down pit road, brings that 42. I think Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet down to get 4 tires and fuel. This will be his last stop of the night if we stay green. And so right now, I mean, based on folks who have pitted, John Ross is currently your leader in that 99 Skoal machine. Brandon Evans is about 2/10 faster in it, but he's about, I don't know, probably 4 seconds back from John Ross at the moment. And John actually running about very similar lap times than Brandon, though it may be a little bit tougher for Brandon to make up this time. I'm not really sure. I mean, he's got 10 lap fresher tires, but the tire fall off hasn't been too big a deal. Back here and check out Robert Hartley. The battle for position with the 43, Leroy Koblenz. As Steve Tucker finally does come down pit road, get 4 tires and fuel. We'll see where he blends out, and he'll have to make up a ton of spots here, as he stayed out for so long. He's dropping all the way to 8th, now 9th. Here comes Leroy and Robert. He's probably going to blend around 12th or 13th. Got a lot of work to do for Steve Tucker. But John Ross now back up to the front. And we don't have that many laps left to go, just about 40 laps to go. And you can see Patrick Drabick back there, but he is about to be under fire from the guy who's dominated this race all night long. Brandon Evans starting to run down that 07 machine. Lap times. Right now, Brandon Evans about half a second faster than Patrick Drabick. See just how much more ground he's able to make up on entry on Patrick. down to the inside. Does he have a run to make the move? I don't know if he does. He'll make a last-second move. Goes down to the inside. I think Patrick knew it was coming, and he does just kind of move over and let him have it. So look out. Brandon Evans now up to second place. He's got 2.8 seconds to make up to run down the leader, John Ross, who is starting to fall off just a little bit from what he was, about 2/10 faster Brandon Evans was last time by. So we'll see if he can run him down. I think he's got plenty of time to make that happen. Ross to the start-finish line now. We'll keep tabs on lap times. 30.249 for John Ross and a 29.888 for Brandon Evans. So he is definitely scooting right along. As for John Ross, you're kind of hoping that the tires will somewhat equalize and you can use that dirty air to your advantage. By the time that Brandon gets up there, you just try to take care of yourself and make sure that you don't burn yours up trying to run away from him. He's got better tires. You want to try to save yours, hope that he runs, kind of burns him up, burns his tires up. But you can see John's second car up there coming off the corner now. One right in front of him. I'm not really sure who that is. This is like the 17. 17 of Ryan Perkins. Ryan Perkins having a race similar to Doug Ellingson, one they would like to forget. 4 laps down, Ryan is, and that Skunk Works 17. Hey, I like me some Skunk Works now. All right, well, we're getting down to crunch time. Got about 35 laps to go. Brandon continues to put the pressure on, a couple tenths almost every lap. He's definitely going to catch him. See how difficult it is to get around that 7 machine. Down to 1.4 seconds. Talking about Ryan Perkins, though, and that Skunk Works machine. Don't know what Skunk Works is. I feel bad for you because that is an advanced division, I think is what they call it, of Lockheed Martin. And they're the ones who designed all kinds of different aircraft. And I know for a fact they're the ones who designed the F-22, one of the baddest planes, the best fighter jet to ever take to the skies, in my opinion. And that came right out of that division. So Ryan Perkins repping the Skunk Works, and I think that's really cool. They've worked on some incredible projects. I think the F-35 Lightning is something that they worked on. Can't remember the other things without cheating and looking it up, but I know for a fact they did the F-22, which is just an incredible aircraft if you're into that sort of thing. Definitely love to get to an air show, see one in person, man. Just incredible what those things can do. I do not want to be a bad guy and see an F-22 pop up. Be a bad day. All right, well, here we go. Battle for the lead, about to pick up some steam as Brandon Evans going to get the draft here at right around 0.8 of a second when that draft starts to become a thing, so that will draw him in a little bit quicker. And I just don't think that John Ross is going to be able to hold him off. It's been pretty consistent, 0.2 almost every lap. We'll see as the dirty air starts to affect Brandon if it's going to be any kind of detriment to the 39 machine. But I honestly think with 11 lap pressure tires, I think Brandon should be able to make this pass and get the lead. And for John Ross, it's going to work out great because he's going to fall back in second, and Patrick Dravick's about 4.3 seconds back, so not really any danger of being any worse than second place. So not a bad move by John Ross. Try to get out front. Maybe something happens to Brandon. You got the lead. You're going to try to hold him off the best he can, but man, Brandon's really moving right now. 3 tenths faster than that last lap. Got the draft. It's going to really yank him around the track. See, every time they enter in the corner, those fresh tires are making a difference. Able to maintain it even off the corner. Look down to the inside. I don't think John Ross has any interest in just letting him go, but man, the pressure is on. Brandon's going to get a great drive off the corner. He's able to hold it down to the bottom, and John Ross knows I got nothing here, and he just lets him go. So Brandon Evans back up to the point, has been dominant so far tonight. You can see he's led 61 out of 86, now 62 out of 87. Just been a dominant performance for Brandon, so he's able to, after that pit road cycle, get back to the front. And with this many laps to go, he's really going to be able to set sail. And without a caution, I don't think anybody's got anything for him. While we were watching that battle, J-Cam was able to take the fourth position away from George Jewell in that 36 machine. So J-Cam, one of the biggest movers of the race, up 6 spots where he started all the way up into the top 5. And if he keeps lapping at his current pace, he's going to run down Patrick Dravick. Patrick, last lap was a 30.717, J-Cam a 30.226. Being only 2.4 seconds back, he's definitely got the speed to run it down. But I think got to be watching J-Cam. I think at the moment, his biggest weakness, he definitely has the long run speed. He definitely knows what he's doing. He has been fast at the end of every race, but you know, it just shows the importance of qualifying. In a series like this where cautions are premium, you're not going to get them. I mean, we got one on lap 2, and then we're not going to see another one. I just can't imagine. And with that being sort of the trend of this series, you're going to have to qualify better. If you're J-Cam, I think he knows this, but he's going to have to qualify better. He's going to start better than 10th place if we're not going to have many cautions, as you're just not able to kind of get that reset that you might need. So I think he's got plenty of speed, especially on the long run, and it works out to his driving style. But he's going to have to start up near the top 5, top 3 to be able to take advantage of that and try to get a win. But he is currently hunting down Patrick Dravick, now 1.6 seconds back, as Steve Tucker was able to get around both Mickey Isaac and Jamie Barkus. So Steve Tucker up into the 7th position as he continues to march through the field with those fresh tires. He's got about 17 lap fresher tires than anybody else, so he's able just to drive right by him. But he's 14 seconds off the lead. Back up here to the 4th position. J-Cam reeling in that 07 machine of Patrick Dravick. Patrick currently has the 42 of Bobby Germain in between them. Bobby kind of hounded him. Got a little bit fresher tires than Patrick, so Patrick's going to let him go. J-Cam going to see that and try to attack. If you're Patrick, you're like, hey, 42, just go. Go, I'm battling here. And that really opens the door for J-Cam. That's a huge advantage for him. He's going to have a nice run down the front stretch here. Patrick going to try to block the ability for him to go to the inside, kind of guard that off. Jake's going to have a run here off the corner. Let's see if he can make that position. Going to get down to that left rear quarter, do a little bit of side drafting. We'll see if Patrick can hold him off. Patrick's going to drive deep down to the corner. Jake's going to gas it up in the middle, and he's got what he needs. And Jake Ham going to take over that third spot. He told me last week, he said, you're going to learn about me. I am a long run type of guy. I know how to make it last. I know how to save my tires, and he's really showing that here in this next year car. It's about the only one that I've seen be able to do that. You ain't doing that in the trucks. You're not doing that in the Xfinity car, but it seems like the next gen you can save those tires a little bit. So Jake Ham up in the third spot. John Ross, though, while he got passed by Brendan Evans, Brendan hasn't really pulled away like I thought he would. John's still within a second of Brendan, so he's able to get a little bit of that draft, and you know, we'll see what John's able to do here if he's able to try to reel him back in. You know, your hope if you're John is that Brandon goes up there and starts to burn his stuff up and fall back to you, but starting to pull away now. Mickey Isaac to the back bumper of Jamie Barkas. Jamie started up front on the pole and has fallen all the way back to 8th. He's in danger here of going to the 9th position. Mickey Isaac going to look down to the inside as it goes around the 00, John Anthony. Say something about the league. Look over there on the left hand side of your screen. You see John Ross now 1.3 seconds back, so it looks like maybe Brandon Evans handling a little bit of lap traffic, but Ross has kind of fallen off the last couple of laps. They run the exact same lap time this time. Right here on board Mickey Isaac. Gets a run down the front straightaway. I think he's got enough to peek down to the inside, and he does. So he's got position on the 15. 15 drives it really deep into the corner, trying to defend that position. Mickey Isaac a little bit easier on the entry, able to get a run in the middle off. We'll see if he's able to do anything with it. Not quite able to get there just yet. Still has that nose tucked up on his back bumper. 15 laps to go in this race. So far, just the one caution. Not that I want a caution, but I'll tell you what, caution would really change this race up. See how hard that Jamie Barkas is driving to the corner versus Mickey Isaac. Mickey trying to get his advantage from middle of the corner off. A little bit deeper that time. We'll see if we can make it work. Just not able to put. Gets a good run here. We'll see. Just not able to put two corners together to get some really, really good runs. He'll look down to the inside, but not quite there just yet. Jamie kind of overdrives the corner. That's going to open the door as Jamie really dove it off in there, and that opened the door for Mickey Isaac. Looks down to the inside. They're side by side. This is a battle for the 8th position. I think Mickey's going to have the position he needs here through 3 and 4. He's going to gas it up. Can he clear him? Not quite able to do it. Mickey's going to drop down to the apron to try to clear this, but Jamie fighting back on the outside. But I think Mickey's going to have it here as it goes down into turn number 1. Move Mickey Isaac up to 8th place. Now he ties back up with Jake Ham, who is also, they've both been able to make up 7 spots from where they started here tonight. Cameraman gets a little drunk. Jacob Ellingson starting to run down his teammate. 4th, 5th, and 6th right here. Steve Tucker starting to knock on the door of the top 5. Patrick Drabick falling back, and then he pitted on lap about 50 laps ago. His tires are probably the worst on the track. Him and Jamie Marcus both fitting there on almost the same time, so they got the advantage of the tires, but here at the end of this run, you can see just how far you fall off the cliff. And I think Jacob and Jacob's is going to be a little bit too fast for Patrick. I mean, Patrick's definitely going to fight him off, but Jacob's been almost half a second faster almost every lap. That's just too much to defend. You can just do too much with half a second. We get to the back bumper. It's just a matter of time here for the 27. Go down to the inside. Patrick going to stay high, give him that bottom line. Maybe play a little bit of defense here against a hard charging Steve Tucker, who's got the freshest tires out of the top 6 here. Continue to watch this battle. Brandon Evans still has a 1.7-second lead over John Ross. As we've got less than 10 laps to go, we're going to watch this battle for 5th position. As Patrick Drabick tries to stop the bleeding, you can see just can't get the car to stay down on the bottom and opens the door for Steve Tucker. And yeah, I mean, Patrick's tires are just shot. There's just nothing you can do against a tire differential like that. I mean, almost 20 lap fresher tires Steve has. Just nothing you can do. Move Steve up in the 5th position. Patrick back to 6th, but that now is going to kind of have the fight here late in the race going to be between Steve Tucker and Jacob Ellingson. After this lap, Steve Tucker just a little bit slower that last lap. See if he's able to make up any time here as you see how close he is to the 27 machine. About 13 seconds back from the lead as these guys. It's about the only battle that's happening on the track. Everybody kind of really spread out here. Tucker was a little bit faster last lap. We'll see what they are this time. Steve just a tad bit faster. They're running very similar lap times. Steve just ever goes slightly faster. They're always going to get him out of the groove there. That's going to have, you got to check up. Scrubs a lot of speed off, and that's really going to kill his run. He took him so long to get to the back bumper, and you saw that dirty air just take all the front downforce off that 24 machine. He was coming off the corner, crossed over his bumper, and that front end just sailed out towards the wall. He didn't hit it, but he had to put in a lot of steering wheel into that car to keep it off the wall, and that just scrubs that speed off. We'll see if he's able to recover. With just 4 laps to go, it just takes so long to mount a charge to somebody to get around them. See if he can get that done. But man, class of the field again. I think these guys have got to. They're on notice. They've been put on notice. They've got to figure out what this 39 car is doing, and they're going to have to try to Got to figure out a way to beat this guy because he has been dominant in every single race so far. Last week, definitely dominant in Kansas. He definitely dominated the race and just got it taken away from him there at the end. Not really taken away. It was a great race and just burned his tires up fighting 10 laps side by side with John Ross. But Brandon Evans definitely has kind of separated himself from the field. This will be 2 wins in a row for Brandon Evans, and it could very easily be 3. But coming to take the white flag here in the Cruising Classics Next Gen Series, Brandon Evans, 1 more lap to go. He's got a 2.3 second lead over John Ross. No pressure out in front, no lap cars for a whole straightaway. He's not going to have to worry too much about it. Down into 3 and 4. No issues for the 39 as he is going to win 2 in a row. Brandon Evans is going to come off of turn 4 and win here at Nashville. John Ross is going to come home in second. Jake Ham with a great run here tonight is going to come home in that 3rd position. Jacob Ellingson in the 4th position. Steve Tucker rounds out your top 5. Not quite able to get to the bumper of Jake Ellingson there at the end. Brandon Evans comes around the corner. Going to get a little love tap from John Ross. A little respect there. And going to open the door and let Brandon Evans burn him down here on the front straightaway. Puts it up against the wall and tries to get as much smoke on the track as possible. Just a dominating performance. Led 91 out of 115, and he would have led them all if it wasn't for that pit cycle the way that it was. Well, man, a great race here tonight. We're ready to kind of hop in, and let's talk to some of these drivers. But first, we'll hit the old results. We'll see where everybody finished up as we're waiting on everybody to get into Discord so we can talk to them. Let's go through the results real quick. You know your top 3, your top 5. I just told you that. Patrick Dravitt comes home in 6th place. George Jewell comes home in 7th. Jamie Barkus in 8th. James Goshen in 9th. And Robert Hartley, going to round out your top 10. In 11th is Leroy Koblenz. 12th is going to be David Camara. 13th, Bobby Germain. 14th, Mickey Isaac. 15th is John Anthony. Not really sure what happened to Mickey Isaac there at the end. Had some sort of issue. Yeah, he was moved up 7 spots, but he ended up in 14th. John Anthony in 15th. Doug Ellingson in 16th. And Ryan Perkins there in 17th. 1 caution, 4 lead changes. That's about what we expect here in this series. All right, well, want to thank our sponsors like always. Definitely could not do it without them. Cruising Classics for being the title sponsor of this series. Jam Printing and Promotions and the Veterans for Life Foundation for sponsoring this series, man. Just it's always great to have awesome sponsors to be a part of your series. They really can really make it or break it. All right. Well, let's talk to some drivers. Going to start with Jake Ham. Going to get him up into the booth. Jake Ham, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, we talked to you last week, and, you talked about saving tires. That's kind of your MO. You said, hey, you're going to learn something about me, and that is saving tires. That's exactly what you did tonight. I mean, you were back there. You had little 2 distinct groups there at the beginning of the race. You had about 6 cars kind of breakaway single file, and then you were in that second group, and you were able to drive up through that second group up to the first group there on that long run and through the rest of that race, able to get up to 3rd place. So saving tires, definitely your MO. You're able to get it done tonight. Talk about your race and, and what you were planning on doing and how it worked out.
I would like to think that it's on purpose, but it just happens to go that way. There's no chance that I'm going to be able to hang it out with these guys, and I'm just like, I'll just hang back, relax a little bit, and it's always worked out over these last couple of times, getting long runs and the tire wear. And what I do wish though on this one, I wish I would have came in with Pat and a couple guys that came in earlier. I feel like I would have been able to gain, 0.3 to maybe like half a second for maybe 4 or 5 laps, made it a little bit closer. But at the end of the day, I'll take a top 3.
Well, I mean, I always say get an interview. That's all. If you do that every week, you're in good shape. So you got that. So, I mean, tell me about this track and this car. And, a lot of these, like the trucks and the Xfinity car, saving tires is sort of a dirty word because you really can't do that anymore. But in this series, it has a lot of green flag racing. We don't have a whole lot of cautions. So it really plays in the hands of somebody who is good at saving tires. How do you save tires in the next gen that's different from, say, like the Xfinity car or maybe even the truck?
You're wanting us to give up our secrets, huh? Well, tire temp has a lot to do with it, I feel like. And what I learned, what was kind of unfortunate and kind of depressing, actually, when the first time I went into the pits, my front right was 80% and all the other tires were 80%. So, or excuse me, 90%. So front right 80, all the other tires were 90. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I'm not pushing hard enough. And so I probably had 3-4 tenths, a lap that I would have been able to catch up on people. And it has to do with a lot of the driving style, the entryway, and letting it roll through the corner, not driving it too hard out. And then once it goes on, the tire wears off so much, you got to make sure that you do change your entry. You can't have the same entry. If you run it the entire way, you're just going to burn your stuff up.
Well, hey, you did a really good job of that tonight, and to come home in third, that is a really, really awesome performance. And I kind of criticized you a little bit, I will be honest, because you're going to go back and listen to it, I'm sure. So I'll go ahead and tell you to your face. That way it's not, you don't think I'm criticizing you behind your back. But qualifying, man, if with the speed that you have, the long run speed, you got to wonder, if you work on your qualifying a little bit, is that something that you think about to go, hey, I'd like to start up a little bit closer to the front and make use of that? Or you just don't really care where you start?
It does. It is something that I wish I could do. My kids have a lot of events and stuff. And so normally I'm home a half an hour right before. Tonight I got stuck doing a purge valve sensor in my car and got that done in 10 minutes right before I hopped on here. So I literally got one practice lap, one pit entry try, and then the 2 qualifying laps. So I know, yes, if I put in a little extra time and effort, if I knew the line before the race started, I think I'd have a better chance.
Well, scary thought for everybody else is, as J Cam says, if I tried, I'd beat all of y'all. That's pretty much what you just said right there. So, all right. Well, Jake, congratulations on your third place finish. As always, man, who you got to thank? Any sponsors, shout outs?
Yeah, we'll give a shout out to my sponsor, Mountain Dew, for sponsoring the car tonight. Smart Avenue Realty, always, obviously. Thanks so much for the broadcast. Love to go back and watch it. Go Locker for everything they do for all the vets. I'm a fellow vet. I appreciate everything that they do for all those guys out there.
There you have it. Third place finisher, J Cam, here tonight at Nashville Super Speedway. And we'll bring our second place finisher, John Ross, up into the broadcast booth. John, you got a copy?
I got you, sir.
Well, second place finish. I mean, a great run by you. Kind of a spread out race. It was tough. Tough passing was sort of at a premium at some points, but you were able to get up and make some moves early in that run. And then you came in a little bit earlier than Brandon did, try to make up some of that time. You're able to get the lead, but the tire differential just a little bit too much there. Talk about your race. Did everything work like you wanted it to? And what was your strategy there, pitting a little bit earlier, trying to do a little undercut?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Like, really, there's two solid entries here. You can stay up a little high and you can cut in and diamond the turns on both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or you can stay low. And if you have a lower entry, it'll save your tires a little bit, but it is a little slower in the early run. But you can pay off in the later run. So I got behind some other cars and I got in some dirty air. So by the time I took second over, I wasn't any faster than Brandon. He was still outrunning me. So I said, let me just undercut him. I'll have the fuel, and on this run, I won't be in dirty air. I'll try to save a little bit of tire. And I seen him coming up. I didn't know there was an 11 lap difference in the tires. I thought it was only a few, but I seen him coming up, and I just let him go by, hoping that my tires would level off. And I think there for a little bit it did level off. But I just didn't save enough, and he was just quicker than I was. He just beat me.
Well, I mean, still though, I mean, you've had a really, really good showing early in this season and show a lot of speed. With it being, with these races sort of kind of, coming into it, you thinking, okay, we're probably going to go green the whole way. Does that change, because you go into an official race or you go into some leagues and, you're going to get that caution about every 30 laps or so, and you can kind of count on a caution. But with it not being, with it being sort of trendy towards green flag racing, does that change the way that you attack these races at all?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think when I come in and I'm running Goat Locker, I know we're going to have some long green flag runs. So my intent is to be softer early so that I can be faster later. Knowing that, yeah, if we were running official, you can count on a caution, and it changes the entire way that you run. You drive it in a little bit harder. You're not softer on entry. You're not really coming down in the apex of the turn and leveling off coming out. So it definitely changes the whole way that you run. Here, I know we're going to have a lot of green, which is what I love, because I think this is truly what this is meant for, what iRacing is meant for, and this league, I really enjoy that fact of it.
Well, talk a little bit about the contact made early. You thought I was going to get away without asking you about that, but y'all made some contact earlier with a few drivers. What do you chalk that up as? Just hard racing, and the fact that we got some really tough next-gen cars. Where do you think that contact was coming from?
Yeah, I think so. I did have a more shallow entry than a couple. Jacob and I really had the most contact there, and I was below him a few times, and he took more of a diamond into the turn. And so I was there a few times, and I let off a few times. The one time that we really made contact, I probably had a fender in, and I just couldn't back off fast enough. When he got turned sideways, I definitely just stood on it and let him straighten it back out. And went on and raced. Certainly didn't mean to do that, but yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything I could do. By that time, I had a fender underneath of him.
Well, y'all were able to keep it going, keep it straight, and so good hard racing. You love to see it. Well, all right. Well, John, congratulations, second place finish. A great run by you as always, man. Who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Yeah, I appreciate it, and Dalton Carter throws the paint schemes on this old car, so I certainly appreciate him. If anybody needs a paint scheme, just hit me up. I'll put you in contact with him. But my Wildman group, Leroy Koblenz, that runs with us, he had a good, safe, honest run tonight. So I really appreciate everything that he does. And Roman's a good kind of crew chief for us. He hops in our chats and watches our races and watches the stream. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and certainly Goat Locker, everybody that runs there, Jacob, Jamie, all of the guys that run Goat Locker. I see the paint schemes on it. Really appreciate those guys. It's a fantastic league. If you need a league to run in the next gen, this is the one for you. So I appreciate it.
Well, all right, there you have it. John Ross with some really good words and some true words about Goat Locker for sure, as he takes home second place. Well, he's been patiently waiting, and we're gonna get him up in here and talk to him. It's sort of the it's sort of the punishment for winning is having to wait so dang long to have your interview. But Brandon, got you in the booth. You're dominated this race. Led 91 out of 115 laps. The last 3 weeks, I mean, you have been the man to beat in every single race. Here tonight, you kind of continued that trend and started up front, got the lead early. We saw you were aggressive early. Was it just a fight to get clean air early? Was that what your kind of
Oh,
goal was early on?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. with these concrete tracks and these very, I would say, slower cornered and kind of more flat banking tracks, you have to get that clean air. You just you cannot run the middle or the top groove, or you're gonna have no tires. Um, so I was trying to set up a pass to get around Jamie, and then I didn't even know we were 3 wide until I heard you say it in the broadcast after the wreck happened. Because when I came off the corner, we were 2 wide, and then I was able to draft and clear Jamie, and then go down, and all of a sudden the caution came out. So, and then I had to lead. So, this is definitely most of these tracks in this car. You just have to be that aggressive to get the clean air, or you're gonna have to just you know, live with where you're at. And then that's that.
Well, you were able to get the clean air, and then you had that first little caution, but definitely not really going to change the outlook of the race. You were able to keep that lead and get out front, and you kind of just slowly pecked away at it as it was about 4/10, half a second for a while, and then just slowly started to pull away as they started racing side by side. I mean, another example of this track is just detrimental to really side by side racing. And you went into a corner one time, you had half a second on second place, and then a few corners later, it's 3.5 seconds, and so you had to feel really good at that point. And then it was time to make that pit stop, and you went really, really long. Talk a little bit about the reasoning for going a little bit longer than pretty much anybody else. Maybe the confidence in just the lead that you had, but what was the strategy there of going just as long as possible?
Yeah, the length that I decided to stay on the racetrack. I saw the other guys, John Ross and Jake. Not really Jake. Jake stayed out in about a normal time range, but John Ross and some of the other guys pitted at, like, I think lap 53, somewhere in around there, and I thought that was early, so I already had like an 8-second lead or whatever it was. And so whenever the pit cycle started, so I figured, like, okay, well, I'll just keep going. The one thing in the back of my mind was the tire fall off. I'm like, well, we're only running 30.7 seconds lap times. They're going to come off and maybe be running close to a second faster, but you can run 30-second lap times forever. So I don't know. I thought maybe the 10 or 11 lap tire advantage would help kind of mitigate that if it were to stay green. It did. I definitely tried my hardest to catch Patrick and John about as fast as I can, and I think that's why John was only a couple seconds behind me, is because I just smoked my tires in that first 10 or 12 laps. I didn't want to be stuck a lap down. I didn't want to get caught up in any lap traffic. And also part of my decision, if I've got guys passing me and messing my lineup, I'm pitting. Like, it's not worth trying to run the high groove and lose time and lose all that track position that I already have. So I didn't want to sacrifice my lead, but I figured since the position I was in, try to just maximize it and take it as long as I could before, I needed to come down. I think I could have went like another 10 or 12 laps before I needed to pit for fuel anyway.
Well, and you're absolutely right about this track. It's one thing that I'm a little nervous about saying I love this track. It's just because you have to hit that one line every single lap. There's not
Right.
there's not much place you can move out of the way. I mean, we saw that with the battle with second. It just extended your lead way far out because you need to be able to use the whole track. And when you leave turn 4, your momentum is carried all the way into middle of 1 and 2, and so anything
Right.
that you lose from that point on is just time lost throughout the whole lap. So
Yeah.
just an interesting call. It's a razor's edge, and man, tonight you knocked it out of the park. So another dominant performance. That's 2 in a row for you. So congratulations on the win, and most likely the points lead after tonight. So as always, man, at the end of these things, who you got to thank in sponsor shout outs?
Yeah, I'll just thank CrossFit Catawba Valley and Ugiri Ramen for letting me put their stuff in my car. I think Connor Mason, he actually built my paint. He's a Goat Locker guy, so I appreciate him doing that. I appreciate my competitors and GLR putting this thing on. This is a lot of fun for me. I'm not a fixed setup person, but I'm here to hone my craft and to get better. So, I'm just very appreciative of that and a lot of fun and looking forward to the next one.
All right. Well, there you have it. Brandon Evans going to take home the win tonight in dominant fashion yet again, and he is going to be your winner here at Nashville. All right, well, we're not going to take any more of your time. We appreciate if y'all are sticking through this towards the end, and I want to appreciate all of y'all for watching. Everybody in chat for being here and watching your friends, family, your drivers, all that kind of stuff. Appreciate y'all being a part and being active in the chat, cheering on your favorite driver. If you can see that subscribe button, just press it. Just let us know that you appreciate it and you like it. That way we can be kind of stuck in that algorithm and we get Goat Locker a little bit more eyeballs on it, get all of our sponsors a little bit more eyeballs, and for all the other leagues that VSRN broadcast, we can really pump up those numbers, and you get more eyeballs, man. That's good for everybody's league. So that's what we're trying to do. That's our main focus at the moment. So if you if you got some people that aren't subscribed, you know it, tell them, hey, man, go over and subscribe to VSRN. That way we can get our broadcasts out there and get some visibility on it. But anyway, that's it. I'm gonna call it a night. I want to thank our sponsors again: Veterans for Life Foundation, Jam Printing and Promotions, and Crusin Classics, obviously, for sponsoring this particular series. I'm Eddie Smith with VSRN. We're going to see y'all next week